Hello, I am Kelly Carell. I'm with a program called TechStars, and we are a STEM education program. Today we're going to be doing a science experiment about density. So my friend Lorenzo here is going to help us out. He's going to be my kid for the day. So we're going to talk a little bit about density. So Lorenzo, what do you know about density?
Density is like how compact the molecules are together, right?
That's right. So when something is compact, do your hands like this. So put your hands like this together. So when they're really tight together, that means compact. So that is compact. So that's dense, right? So that's dense. If we spread them out, are we more dense or less dense?
Less dense.
Less dense because they're not as spread out. So this is a picture that you can look at that gives you a good visualization. So we had our fingers. Now here's another one. So Lorenzo, out of these two pictures, which one do you think is more dense? The blue one or the green one?
I would say the blue one.
The blue one. Why?
Because they are bigger, they're more compact.
They're more compact. That's exactly right. And look what it says right here. Density is how compact objects is. How about that? Or an object is. How close together are the molecules or the particles? So in here, these are close together, they're full. Here, they're kind of spread out and just moving around, right? So this is more
dense
and
less dense.
Less dense. Very good. Now I have another example I want to show you. So which one of these two items is bigger?
This one.
All right, this is bigger. So which one, if you weren't really knowing about density, which one would you think might be more dense?
I would think the brick would be.
Well, the brick actually is more dense. But like if I didn't know,
if I would have looked,
I might have thought something bigger is more dense.
Yeah.
So like for example, if I gave you a pound of cotton balls and a pound of bricks, which one would weigh more?
It would be the same.
That's right. See, I tried to trick him, but he's too smart for me. They would be the same because they're both 1 pound. Now this is for little kids, but anybody could do this experiment. So I want you to put your hand out, and I'm going to give you this brick. Oh, it's got a little weight to it?
It does.
All right, so even though it's smaller, how's that feel?
This is a lot
light, because even though, so this one has, you can't see it inside, but inside there's these tiny little molecules. That's what everything's made up of. And that means those molecules are tight, 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 like that, right?
Correct.
But here, in cotton, the molecules are kind of loose. So each cotton ball, so it's not the number of cotton balls, it's how their molecules are together. And so these are compact, which makes them dense, and these are spread apart, which makes them less dense. So you ready for our experiment?
I'm ready.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so today what we're going to do, we're going to have a glass. We have several ingredients. What does this one look like?
Water.
Water. We've got water. What do we have here?
Vegetable oil.
Vegetable oil, sort of in a bad looking bottle, but it still works. And what is this one?
This is body lotion.
Lotion. And what is this fun thing here?
Shaving cream.
Shaving cream. All kids love to work with shaving cream. So there's our 4 ingredients that we're going to use. We want to find out which one of these is the most dense and which one is the least dense and which ones are in between.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to use a glass, a clear glass, so we can see through it. And the first thing that we're going to do, now if you're at home, you might need some help with this, but Lorenzo is a big boy, so he can pour this all by himself. So what I'm going to have Lorenzo do is pour some water into the glass. So see this piece of tape? I just want you to pour the water right up there to that tape line.
Okay. Wish me luck, guys.
All right, so they can't see the tape line, I just realized, so I was just showing them. It doesn't matter exactly how much, you just want to put some in there, enough that you can tell the difference. So not too much and not too little, just a little bit, like maybe an inch or 2 of water in a glass. And if you have a kit that they sent you, you might be getting a glass that looks like this, plastic. I use the glass glasses because you can see them a little bit better. All right, so we're going to use our next object. We're going to use the vegetable oil next.
Okay.
So now you've got to think, is it less dense or more dense than water?
I would say less.
Less dense. So if it were less dense, it would float on top of the water.
Okay.
And the water would go to the bottom. All right? So we're going to test that theory. So don't put too much. Again, you're going to need some help with this. So if you're at home, you might put in a little bit in a cup. I'll tell you what, I'll do that just to give an example. Just put a little bit in a cup. That way maybe we won't make a mess. And let's pour that into the cup, the glass, and let's see if it's going to be on top of the water or down below the water.
Want to pour all of it?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. So where is that oil?
It is at the top.
It's floating on top. So the water is more dense because it's hanging off down there, and
the oil is less dense.
The less dense, and that makes it float on top.
Correct.
All right, so what should we do next? How about the lotion?
Let's do the lotion.
All right, we're going to do the lotion. I'm going to just let you pump some pumps in there. First you got to hypothesize. Do you know what a hypothesis is?
It's an educated guess.
It's a guess, that's right. So based on what you can see, this is pretty thick. Do you think it's going to be more dense than the water and the oil, or less dense than the water and the oil?
I think it will be more.
So if it's more dense, is it going to float on top or sink to the bottom?
It's going to sink to the bottom.
All right, let's check it out. Ooh.
Ooh.
Let's see. Uh-oh, I think I'm figuring something out right here. I think that's enough. Thank you, Lorenzo. All right, so where did it actually go?
It's above the water, but below the oil.
You are so right. Wow. So what does that tell us?
That means it is more dense than the oil and less dense than the water.
Yes. That's right. So that's where we're kind of making layers, because depending on the density depends on where it's going to fall in there, right? So now I have the really fun stuff. What do you think? You like shaving cream?
Yes.
All right, so what do you think is going to happen with this shaving cream? Is it going to sink to the bottom, go somewhere in the middle, or float on top?
I think that may float on top.
Might float on top. All right, I'm going to let you put some in there and let's find out. Oh, you're looking right so far. Okay, is it sinking?
Doesn't look like it.
No, I think it's floating on top, isn't it? So what does that tell us? What's the most dense?
The most dense is the water.
The water, and then the
lotion.
Then the
oil. Then the shaving cream.
The shaving cream. Very good. So that tells us what's the most dense. So more dense means what?
More compact.
Compact together. Less dense is?
Spread apart.
Spread apart. So I hope you like this, but we're not finished. So this was our experiment. So this is what you're going to be trying to do at home and see if you can recreate this. But there's also a bonus. So I was told that if the children do something at home and they take a picture of it and they send it in, they will get mailed a prize.
They do.
So if you do this at home, what I'm about to show you, and it's going to be on the sheet that's going to come in your packet, it's going to have this experiment on it, and at the bottom it's going to have this that you can try at home. So if you do this one and you take a picture of it, you're going to get a prize. It's going to come to you in the mail, which would be so cool, wouldn't it?
It would be.
Okay. All right. So we're going to take another glass of water. We're going to start off with water. I'm going to let Lorenzo put some water in this cup. Now, this is a plastic cup, so I'm going to hold on to it because it tips over more easily. Go ahead and put it about halfway full.
Right there.
That's fine. There we go. All right, so we want to find out, it's got a little oil in it. The oil's floating on top, that's why we know. So we must have used this cup for oil before. So what we're going to find out is we want to know what around our household would be more dense than water or less dense than water. So what you need to do at home is go find some things. You could like have a penny or a rock or a bottle cap, anything that will fit into this you can put in and find out if it's going to sink or float. So we're just going to do a couple of things to experiment with that. So let's start off with this glue stick. So can you put that in there and let's see what happens? What happened?
It floated.
It floated. So that tells us it is?
It is less dense
than water. Now I had to only find things that I could find in this room. So I may have to go grab a penny out of my purse and we can experiment with that. But I found this rubber band. So let's try the rubber band. Uh-oh, what happened to the rubber band?
It sunk.
It sunk to the bottom. So what does that tell us?
That means it is more dense.
It is more dense than water. All right, I'm going to fish it out of there. All right, how about this wooden stick?
Let's see.
Now that one doesn't work so good. You know what? Let's take a piece of the wooden stick.
Okay.
That might be better. All right, so what did it do?
Float.
Float. So whatever you pick has to go into the water, and it has to be able to fit in the water. So see, that was too big, we had to break it off. Don't break anything unless you ask your parents. And I also...
This means it is less dense than the water.
Less dense than the water, so it floated on top. Now I have one more object here, and you don't have to use these objects. Anything you can find at home will work, so long as it fits in there. So this is actually the top to the shaving cream. Let's see what happens.
Float.
It's floating, so that means it's
less dense.
Less dense. So if you do this at home and you take a picture and you send it into Big Buddy, Big Buddy is going to send you a prize in the mail. So I hope that you had a good experience today and learned about density and had fun doing this experiment. So have a great rest of your day.